Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami Mdletshe, and on this channel sikhuluma ngama-reality TV shows, ama-celebrities kanye nama-YouTubers. And you guys, today I want to do the review of the second episode of a documentary yalo sisi lo, Rosemary Ndlovu, the serial killer. Okay, who is serial killer, guys? What in she was killing family, which was really weird for somebody that is a female. Anyway, you guys. So they've just posted episode 2. They post every Wednesday. So if you want to check it out on Showmax, hey, this chair. If you want to check it out on Showmax, you can check it out, you guys. But before I begin with this video, and before you go and watch on Showmax, let me give you this warning, you guys. It gets worse. Okay, it gets worse because there's murder after murder after murder now. Like now it's a spree. Every year she is dealing with somebody in her family. But not only that, in this episode particularly, they do talk about her baby, you guys, a 2-year-old. Okay. And this baby was 6 months when Maurice, remember Maurice, the boyfriend that we talk about in the first part of the documentary, passed. This baby was 6 months old when he when Maurice was buried. So yes, they're very young. So judge for yourself, you guys. Your mental health is very important. If you're somebody that will not be able to deal with the details when it comes to the passing of a child, if you cannot deal with a story like that, this is not a video for you. And maybe a documentary as well is not. I don't want to say don't go and watch, but I'm just giving you that warning, you guys, because it really gets worse. This woman was like really, really evil. And I think that she was going to run out of her family. Maybe she was going to go to her friends after that. And I think honestly, she was going to kill all of us, and all of us in South Africa, because eventually she was going to run out of her family, but she was not going to be satisfied. Maybe she was going to start with her friends, her colleagues, and all of that. I don't know where it was going to end, honestly, really. So now, guys, in this episode, there is 5 murders that they talk about. Okay, first, it's a matter of her cousin. When I say a cousin, there is her mother, or Rosemary. Her mother had a sister. Her sister had 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Okay, they were grown up at that time. Okay, so Rosemary's mother had 3 kids, and then the aunt had 2. Okay, so the cousin, so she took care of one cousin. Okay, so that's the first one that we're going to talk about. The second one is her sister, her blood sister. Like I said, her mother had 3 kids. It was her. It was the one that we are going to talk about, and then the younger sister that is part of the documentary. I actually hope that that sister was paid by Showmax, honestly, because she's living under not so good conditions when you look at the house that she lives in. So I hope that they did pay that sister to do this documentary. And then we also talk about her child, okay, Rosemary's child. She even, guys, I believe that this woman actually fell pregnant, detached herself from the baby because she was planning to take the life of the baby. Okay, I know it's unbelievable, I know, but it happened. Okay, so there is that, you guys. And then the fourth one is her niece. Okay, there's the other cousin. It's not clear which aunt gave birth to that cousin. That cousin had a daughter and a son. That daughter, yes, is the fourth murder. Okay, that daughter had a brother. That's the fifth murder. Okay, so everybody was on the hit list. It just depended when she thought, okay, now it's your time. Okay, so now let's start with the witness, you guys. Witness is the cousin. So all of a sudden, all of a Sunday, Rosemary calls her aunt. Okay, her mother's sister. Hi, Auntie Ninjani. Konje, Auntie, when is your birthday? Auntie's like, oh, it's on this day. Okay, no, I just want to bring you a birthday cake. I achabulu, Auntie, no, fine. And then she's like, but Auntie, let me find out. Do you have a funeral policy on Witness? Witness is the son. Okay, She does not ask, do you have a funeral policy on the family? Because that would have been, a better question to ask. If you are concerned about the family, do you have a funeral policy for the family? Because it was the aunt, it was the son, it was the daughter. But she specifically asked about the son. Do you have a funeral policy on the son? The mother's like, no, we don't have. It's like, you know what? These boys, sometimes they are in and out, at night and all of that. Anything can happen to him. Remember, you guys, let's put it into perspective. Every family has that one family member that is taken as a person that advises the family because maybe they are a little bit more educated than the rest of the family. They have a better job, they know things. And also, Rosemary was a policewoman. So she also says, and because she is still alive, she says that, of course, she's a policewoman. If she's saying, listen, if my son is usually out at night and there's a chance that he could be murdered, that is a good idea for me to take a funeral policy. I didn't think much of it. I'm just thinking she's advising me as who and I must do this. Listen, you guys, auntie was working at a job where she was earning 150 rand a week. Okay. And Rosemary expected her to be taking a funeral policy on his son. And I think the aunt did end up joining a society. Society must drop son and join a lama was drop son, no mama bona, election and all of that. Okay. Fine, you guys. As weird that as that might sound, Auntie talks about Rosemary as being like one of her children. When she talks about her, she even touches her breasts. She's like she was like one, as if like she breastfed her because her sister's kids were like her kids. Okay, and even the kids that are commenting here, the sister that was left behind also comments as if Rosemary was like a big sister to her, and also the other sisters were like sisters to her. So basically, this was her brother. Okay, and the younger sister talks a lot about how a loss affected her, when it comes to this brother, because this is a brother that took care of the family. She talks about her having her first bed ever when she was 11 years old because her brother liked beautiful things. So in the community, she was the first 11-year-old that had a bed because her brother bought her a bed. So he took care of the family. So this was somebody that was very important to the family. So then one day they're trying to get hold of Witness. Nobody can get hold of Witness. The sister cannot get hold of Witness. And then in that pity, Rosemary calls and says, listen, I've been trying to get hold of Witness, and I've even gone and looked for him at work where he works. They said that he's off shift namhlanje, so I can't get hold of him. Bamangalus, what's happening? Because they've also been trying to get hold of him. He calls one of their cousins called Godfrey, I think, and he says, Godfrey, let's go look for Witness because nobody knows where he is. Okay, fine. Godfrey agrees, but Godfrey's like, but we should start by looking for him at his place. Okay, I mean, it makes sense, guys. If I go missing, people are gonna come to my house to see, am I at my house? If I'm not, they're gonna go to work. If I'm not, then they contact one of, some of my friends. If I'm not, relatives, and then maybe they can go to the hospital, maybe to the mortuary to look for me. But my house, they have to check. Maybe I'm sleeping in one of the bedrooms. Who knows? So the cousin is like, let's go to his house and search there. Rosemary is like, no, 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 let's go to the taxi rank. Okay, the cousin, I guess, is like, okay, weird, but okay. They meet at the taxi rank. Immediately when they meet at the taxi rank, they don't do much looking even there because Rosemary is like, let's go to this particular police station. Okay. They go to the police station. This just happens to be the police station that had found a body that nobody had identified. Okay, they go to the police station. They get there, you guys. When they get there at the police station, and then Rosemary says, "We are here to claim the body that you guys found." The police are like, "The body? Which body?" Auntie, the one that you found. And then how do you know that it's your person? Because we haven't taken any fingerprints on this person. There's no DNA that has been done to this person and all of that. And then calls the family. Rosemary. People are confused here. What's happening here? From what I understand, at that time they did not allow them to take the body because, of course, they were busy with their procedures. So the police took the body to the government mortuary. Okay, so that whoever wants to identify the body will go there and identify the body. But they are confused by the situation as to how this woman is walking into this police station claiming a body that nobody has announced that they found, and also nobody has tested or identified or anything, but they're already crying about this person being their cousin that had passed. Okay. So she doesn't give up. She takes the cousin Godfrey. They go to the mortuary. They identify the body, and then call the family to confirm. Listen, it really is him. He was found. Everything, and yeah, the family arranges for the funeral. It's a painful thing. The sister has lost a brother. The mother has lost her only son. The family is there except for Rosemary. Rosemary doesn't go to the funeral. This is her aunt. She says they were very close. She was like her child. Okay. She doesn't go to the funeral. The aunt waits that after the funeral, she's going to, but she was the one looking for him. Okay. And then the aunt is thinking, okay, right after the funeral is done, she's going to come visit me. She doesn't. The aunt talks about how upsetting that was for her, that Rosemary never came to see her, never came to the funeral, and even afterwards never came to see her. But okay, abantu abadala bayadlulisa. Fine. So then, guys, from that murder, she gets 138,000 because now they're looking back. Remember, this murder is taking place way 2 years before Maurice. Okay. Maurice passes away in 2017. Okay, it's not even 2 years because this is like in 2012, I think. So it's years before Maurice passes away. Now they are finding this information as they are investigating the cases based on the payments that Rosemary had received. Okay, so this is way before Maurice. I fine. Nobody is suspecting anything at the time, but all of this information that I'm providing now of how the reaction was at the police station and the 138,000 that she got, this is the information that they find after Maurice, because then the investigator goes back to the community and speaks to them with what happened when this person was found. How did you discover that this person was actually related to these people? The police now are telling the story. Hey, you won't believe it. Phela kwavele kwafika njena omunye lana usisi oyiphoyisa wavele wakhala wathi kushona umuntu wakubo singakasho nanokusho ukuthi kwenzekani. Okay, with all of these cases, you guys, kuyavulwa is something that you call an inquest, where obviously there's something about wanting to find out what happened with this person, but it's not really a murder. It's like umuntu utholakele elimele somewhere. People will always be found in the bushes, being badly injured, like they're badly beaten by the side of the road and all of that, and then so there would be an inquest, but nobody would know for sure that the person was murdered. Okay, so that was the first murder, you guys. With this one, she had taken 5 policies on this one, and 3 had lapsed because she had not kept up with the payments. Okay, but 2 of them paid, and that's the 138,000 that she actually received. You guys, at this point, you guys, they are actually even getting the serial killer profiler at this point, because they are realizing that this is worse than we thought. Okay, the serial killer profiler does say that this was the new one for her. First, it was new for her to have somebody suspected of being a serial killer that was a female, and also somebody that actually kills her own family. Okay, and also it was almost like sometimes you feel like she commits the murders herself. Sometimes you will feel like someone else is doing it for her. So, like, with serial killers, they will do it the same way. Like, they will have a way that they kill and the way that they leave the body the same way. With her, there will be differences here and there. So the profiler does talk about how different it was to actually study this case, because of how different it was from the cases that she had done before, you guys. Then the next one, you won't believe, this woman goes after her own blood sister, Audrey Ndlovu. Okay, when the little sister, who Joyce, who is the one that is actually part of the documentary, talks about the 2 sisters that she had, because she had Audrey and she had Rosemary being this one. She says that Audrey, she's very sad about losing Audrey, because between the 2 of them, Audrey was the really sweet sister. She was the one that was the most patient, whereas this one was very impatient. Okay, and she feels like that's a sister that she could talk to like share her problems with. Even when she had problems, she would come to her Joyce and they would share with her. So it was the biggest loss for her to actually lose Audrey. Guys, this is what happens, ne? So her sister lived somewhere, you guys. So, and then they were not very close with Rosemary, because you know why I say they were not very close? Because Audrey's neighbors didn't know Rosemary, and they didn't know Audrey had a sister that is a police woman. Okay. But this one day she comes with this woman who is a police woman wearing uniform, I guess. And the neighbors are sitting outside. Elokishini, we have bloggers, informal bloggers. Laba abahlezi behleli emnyango, they see all of the stories. If you ask them, ukuthi ubani ujola nobani, ubani ushisa nobani, these two women were the bloggers of the community. So they're sitting outside. The neighbors are sitting outside, and Audrey comes home with Rosemary. So she greets the neighbors and introduces her sister to the neighbors. Says, "This is my sister. She works at Tembisa police station." You guys, listen. This is what they don't clarify in the documentary, because the main investigator in this case, in the first part of the documentary, it feels like they work in the same station with Rosemary. But I guess at some point, one of them was transferred to a different police station, because at this point, it feels like Rosemary is working at Tembisa police station, but this investigator is working somewhere else. Okay. Remember, last time, Rosemary did get mad when he stopped one of the payments from the insurance companies. But on this one, when they pick up, they don't tell us what happens with that, because what he does is that he continues to investigate behind the scenes, but she doesn't know that the cases are being investigated. So I don't know if he called the insurance companies and said, "Listen, release the payment so that she is not suspicious, so that I can continue to actually investigate her." Remember, at this time, they are convinced that this woman keeps killing people, but they do not have a concrete of evidence where they can charge her. They can't go and say, "Listen, this person is killing her family," and the court asks, "What evidence you have?" And they say she received some money from whatever the insurance. They needed more than that, and they were not getting that at this point. Okay. So the sister greets the neighbors. "Here's my sister, works at the police station," and whatever. And then they go inside. They are about to go inside her house. Okay. And then Rosemary says to her sister, "Listen, go and buy bread. I will go inside, make tea, and then you can come back, and then we can have whatever, whether it was lunch or whatever." It's around June, so it's not hot. So weather young June. Okay. So the sister goes to buy bread and then comes back, gets in the house. The neighbors continue blogging, okay, because they're blogging around the neighborhood, okay. Every neighborhood has a blogger. They just don't know that they're blogging, okay. So then, you guys, they go inside the house. I don't know if it's after a few minutes or whatever, or an hour or whatever. Rosemary comes out. Okay, the bloggers continue to blog, so they're looking at her. But what's weird about it is that when Rosemary comes out of the house, she doesn't say anything to them. Like if I come out of the house and my sister had just introduced me to the neighbors and they're still sitting there, I would probably be like, "Oh, seno salaga kahle," and then get in the car and go. But she doesn't do that. She doesn't say anything to them. She doesn't look at them. She just goes. Okay. Fine. I'm sure they're looking at each other like, yeah, amaphoyisa ayaziphakamisa. Eh? She goes, okay. The bloggers block and block and block. They go back to their houses. In the morning, one blogger is sitting outside again. She sees Rosemary again. She's like, "How? This sister who never really used to visit that much, now she's visiting twice, day after the other." Okay, but fine. She just continues to blog. She does the weird thing again. She doesn't greet them. She doesn't greet the one blogger, Makelwan. Goes in the house and then comes back very quickly. When she comes back, she's like, "You know what? Please help. Oh, have you seen my sister?" The blogger is like, sis, njani ngoba usisi wakho simgcina izolo thina ehamba nawe." She's like, "I know, angimtholi in please accompany me to her house." This woman is like, "Accompany you to the house? Why?" It's like, "No, ngicela nje ungiphelezela because angimboni." This woman is like, "This is weird, okay?" She calls the other blogger from the day before. She's like, listen, nangumuntu ethi asimphelezele ayofuna usisi wakhe endlini, kuwuye ongene nosisi wakhe endlini, woza simphelezele. This one also is like, but that's weird. But they decide, okay, fine, they bamphelezele. So when they get in the house, you know, the minute she sees her sister is lying under the blankets in the bed, uh, she screams, Mambulelo Siswami, immediately calls the family. How? Then the neighbors are like, how? How do you know what to feel a man? Because they haven't done the thing, they haven't done the thing, they haven't done the thing, they haven't done anything to confirm this person is dead. They haven't called the ambulance, they haven't done anything. She's crying now, she's calling the family. Bambulelo Siswako. Now they're surprised. Bambulelo, who killed who? Who killed her? Go, because we haven't confirmed anything. Hayi usisi wakhona-ke akhale in when you ask her like deep questions, they say ukuthi she will just be dramatic. She can even the investigator says she can even roll on the floor when she wants to be dramatic. Okay, she does the crying. Obviously the neighbors maybe are trying to confirm that the body is really like, the person has passed there, and then they're looking at this one being dramatic, and then there are two cups sitting there, like tea cups sitting there. Okay, then all of a sudden she takes these cups and goes to the sink and washes these cups. They're thinking, why are you washing the dishes? Also, she's not washing all the dishes because this woman says, in the sink there were dishes there, full in the sink, they were dirty. She doesn't wash all of them. She just washes these two cups. They're looking at that, they're thinking, why is she washing the cup? They even ask her, why are you washing the cups? But she just continues to wash the cups. Okay. So obviously they ended up confirming that, okay, yeah, the woman is dead. They called the family. That's it, you guys. That's the passing of her sister. With this particular killing, she gets 717,000. Okay. Listen, you guys, by this time, I'm sure you are thinking Rosemary is living in the triple story houses. Rosemary is driving fancy cars. Rosemary is sleeping in hotels. No, Rosemary was not living that life. There is a house that they show where they are talking about the next murder. But the house that they show you guys, it's a very neat one of those township forum houses that are very neat. But the money that she kept getting, you would think she was living in a much, you know, bigger house, triple stories, double stories, whatever. But no, that's not the life that she was living. And we will find out soon why, even though she was getting so much money with all of these insurances, why she still did not have any money. Okay. Listen, you guys, they do add the contribution of the station commander when it comes to, because now she is working at Tembisa police station. So they add a station commander there to make some contributions, because this was a dramatic employee, you guys. She needed a very patient she needed a very patient boss. Okay, she needed a very patient boss. Now, you guys, these two matters that I'm talking about, which is the cousin Witness and then Audrey, the sister, took place before Maurice. Okay, now we are in Maurice. Okay, and these are the matters that they could confirm. These are the ones they could confirm. Maybe there's others that they never knew about, and the only way that they could confirm is because she received payments when the people passed. The investigator was insistent on, she kept calling the insurance company to say, listen, is this person receiving anything? Have they received anything from you in the past few years? Give me the records. That's how they were finding out these stories. Now we get to Maurice. Okay, and this is where they go back to the family Maurice. The sisters insist, you guys, that even though there were things that were happening during the passing of Maurice, and how strange she was acting, Rosemary, during that time, but they never treated her bad. She said they never treated her bad. There was nothing like whatever. She was just respected. She was allowed to come to whatever it is, the funeral, everything, Maurice, and whatever she was asking them to do to Maurice. Like, you remember, she bought the clothes and the perfume and everything they did. Things started changing after the funeral. The sister, this is how the sister explains it. She says they obviously they didn't have anything tangible to accuse her of anything, even though they were suspicious. So yeah, she continued acting the same way to Rosemary as she was acting. But her brother was feeling very strongly that Rosemary must have had something to do with the murder of her brother, or the death of her brother, because really at the time they had not confirmed that it was murder. Okay, so this is what happens. Futhi Rosemary. So then the brother talks to his friend, amajita mayehleli ezixoxela and they're like, hayi mngani yako nobhuti ushonile, but noma singazi ukuthi ubani ombulele, but mina I suspect ukuthi Rosemary had something to do with it. The friend goes home and tells his wife ukuthi phela laphayana kushoniwe, and they're suspecting that the wife is the one that killed Ulon. And then the wife, what does she do? She calls Rosemary. Hey, Rosemary, phela sekuthiwa uwe laphayana ubulele. The sister says that's how the relationship started. The tension between them started, because then Rosemary would confront them and say, "Vele kushuthi benivele nisola mina ukuthi yimi engibulele," or whatever. But they never said anything directly to Rosemary. So obviously after that things changed, because she had heard that they are suspecting, more especially Vincent, who was the brother to Maurice, was very suspicious of, and he would talk to certain people who will get that information back to Rosemary. Remember, Rosemary had a 6-month-old baby when Maurice was buried. So after the funeral, guys, remember the first aunt that she never went to the funeral. She never went to the funeral. She never went to see that aunt. You remember that aunt? Yes, that aunt. She takes her baby, goes to that aunt. Yes, that aunt takes her baby, goes to that aunt. Auntie, I have a problem with the nanny here. She's not very nice to my baby. Whatever excuse that she gave her, but there was something about the nanny. And she says, please, ngicela ungihlalela nengane yami. The aunt does say that at that time, if she's being honest, she was still hurt by her. She was still upset with her, but she was also so happy to get, a grandchild, that was going to stay with her. From all accounts, so she leaves the baby there, you guys. From all accounts, she wasn't really giving them any money or anything, because the aunt does say that the child ended up eating where they were eating. So she would eat the food that they were eating. They were taking off the baby, and they really didn't have a problem taking care of her baby. This baby is called Makanani, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. So then they just raised the baby, and they didn't have a problem with the baby. But when she explains the weirdness of her, now and then, Rosemary will come to see the baby, but just at when she's there, she's just look at the baby at the distance and say, hey, probably she's even forgotten that I'm her mother. And the aunt says that she would always insist, no, the baby doesn't forget that you are her mother. She probably knows that you are her mother. She's just attached to us now because we live with her. Okay. And then after some time, which they're not specific as to how long it was, but it wasn't long, you guys. It wasn't over a year. It wasn't a year after Maurice had passed that she came back to get the baby. Okay. She comes back, she says now she's going to stay with the baby. Okay, the aunt, even though she wasn't happy, because she really was happy to have a grandchild there with her, but I mean, it's her baby, Rosemary, it's Rosemary's baby. So she allows Rosemary to actually take the baby with her. Okay. Nene, the sister of Maurice gets a call. Okay, gets a call, and it's a Joburg number. And so she received a call, and someone says that they're calling from a certain hospital. And do you know Makanani? The name of the baby? Yes, I know the baby. It's my brother's baby. No, we just wanted to let you know that she passed. By the way, I'm not sure if it's a girl or a boy, but the baby passed. She's What? Yes. What happened? Was admitted in the hospital, barely injured. The nurse insists that, you know what, we did everything that we could to save the baby, but it didn't, it didn't work. We're sorry, but we're giving this number to call you and let you know that this has happened. The sister is not like, how do I tell my mother? Remember, Maurice's mother is still alive, you guys. So she's like, how do I tell? She says, it's only been months since my brother passed. Now the baby, you know? And now she has to tell her mom. Okay, so they call Rosemary. They like, listen, what are you gonna do? Because obviously doesn't she have to be buried where her father was buried? Let me just assume it was a girl because I don't know. But I was trying to figure out from the talk if it's a girl or a boy, and I couldn't. Okay. So I'm gonna bring the baby back so that they can be buried where their father is buried. And Rosemary is like, listen, the funeral, whatever, said they don't do that, and it's quite expensive to transfer the body. So it was going to be transferred from Joburg to the rural areas where the family stays. And I was going to be expensive to do that. So, no, I won't do that. Remember now, there's already tension with the family, like, because now she knows that they are suspecting her. Okay. So they talk about how they found out on Facebook that the child had been buried, and also seeing some tombstone that had been posted on Facebook. The mother actually was being told by people that she had posted a message on Facebook with the tombstone about a child. So they don't even know where that took place, where the baby is buried. So they don't know, you guys. So this is one of those matters. For the baby, you guys, she received a total of 200,000 rand. Okay. This is what I think happened with the baby, which I really think it's sad, you guys. I feel like because the sister of Maurice does explain that, listen, this baby was planned by Rosemary. She says that one day she came to her and said, listen, me and Maurice are really having issues in our relationship. I think that I want a baby. I want to have a baby. And she remembers the sister thinking that, but if you're having problems, it's not like the baby is going to help. And then a few months later, she was pregnant with the baby. And then once she had had a baby and Maurice had passed, she did not really want to live with the baby. So she took the baby too. This one story, part of the story, is really painful because honestly nobody knows what happened to that baby. The sister just knows that she got a call from the hospital to say that the baby had been admitted badly injured. Nobody knows who brought the baby to the hospital. Nobody knows what had happened to the baby, and whether the postmortem was done. Nobody knows. Only Rosemary knows. So this part of it is sad. I really feel like she had that baby for the purpose of doing this whole thing. And I think her taking the baby to the aunt's place to stay there was to detach from the baby so that she doesn't feel very, attached to the baby. So that's how it is. So they don't know, they haven't been where the baby was buried as a family, Yaga Morris. Okay. Now, you guys, this was third one. Okay. So this one, you guys, was like the first one that happened after, you know, Maurice had passed, because the others, remember, they're only finding out about them because they're investigating after Maurice had passed. Okay. Now, the next one is Uzanele, you guys, Uzanele Mota. Zanele is one daughter of a cousin of Rosemary. Okay, she had a brother too. And Zanele had a boyfriend that she was living with. They had 3 kids together. They were as happy as a couple could be. They had fights here and there. Jablani, the boyfriend, is actually part of the documentary. She tells the story of their relationship, had their ups and downs, but they really loved each other. And that's why they lived together. She says that at some point, Zanele decided that she really wanted to increase her chances of getting a better job. So she felt like if she goes back to school and study further, that she might have a better chance at life. So Jablani supported that. The thing is, they didn't have money for her to study. So when she went to this one institution to study, they obviously they wanted money, but they gave her an option to take a study loan so that she could pay for her studies. But they needed somebody to sign for her. Then this one is also painful because this victim actually, without knowing, helped, Rosemary. Okay. I don't know with Zanele, you guys, if Rosemary already had taken insurance on her, and in Zanele contacting Rosemary, that gave an idea now to add life insurance on top of other insurance that she had taken. I don't know, but she contacts Rosemary to say, listen, and you know that, and you're trying to find somebody who's doing a little betanyana in the family to help you out. Auntie, this is the issue I have. I want to study. They're offering me a study loan, but obviously I need someone to sign as surety. Can you help me? They arrange a meeting. They meet, and she explains everything. They arrange another meeting. She goes there. When she comes back, she talks about how they went and did medical tests, which was weird for a loan, for a study loan. And but then later on, she tells her boyfriend that Rosemary had made her take life insurance. Okay. And then the weird thing about it is that she tells her boyfriend that, but I'm not supposed to tell you because Rosemary had told me not to tell you. Okay. Weird, but then they're not thinking. Remember, this is like they're not that close to the rest of the family that have experienced the other, uh, you know, the other passings of the family members. Okay, so even though they're thinking that's weird that she would just want you to take, you know, life insurance nje all of a sudden, but they are grateful for the help because she's going to help her with the money so that she can study. You guys, they don't indicate if she actually does take a loan because Rosemary did not have good credits. Okay, this is where it comes out as well that Rosemary really was a gambler. This is what the station commander expresses, that she was a gambler. Rosemary. The investigator says that there was a time where she would look at during investigations, she would look at Rosemary's statements and she would think that Rosemary is paying Inkabi or something, because there would be so many payments, 5,000 to this person, to that person, and whatever, 2,000 to this one, to this one. And then during his investigation, he decided to go and see every single person that was being paid by Rosemary. And when she went and saw these people, every single person was umashonis, okay, a loan shark. Okay, so he realized akuzona inkabi lezi azikhokhelayo, uhleze eboleka imali labantu. The station commander at Tembisa police station says that one time he had to have a meeting with 15 loan sharks at his station because they came to try and attack Rosemary because they wanted their money. He says that when he added the money that he owed people, it added to 200,000 when everybody said how much he was owing because she was running away from paying people. She says that Rosemary started at the thing of every month and she was calling in sick because she was avoiding coming to the station at month end because obviously people are going to come and demand money because she was borrowing money from everybody. During that meeting, she promises that she has insurance money that is coming, which is right. I believe that this was right before Zanele. And she promises that there's insurance money that was coming and she was going to be able to pay it, which the station commander wondered about because when she added the amounts that people were saying was like 200,000. So she wondered about exactly how much was coming her way. For Zanele, you guys, she did end up getting 119,000, close to 119,000. So with Zanella, this is what happened. She takes the insurance. I'm not sure if the loan, she ends up taking the loan, but then she goes back home. And then after, I don't know if a few weeks or months or whatever, they're going through something with her boyfriend. She says, you know what, I'm thinking of visiting my aunt, just Sishai or Moy and Jane, because we're fighting a lot. And the boyfriend's like, no, it's okay. And also she wanted to get to know her aunt that had helped her so much. Maybe she thought, it's a good idea, let me go visit her and help her out a little bit or something because auntie had helped her, so she does that, you guys. But she when she gets there, okay, she stays, I don't know if it's a couple of days or a couple of weeks. They get a call back at home that she had been in an accident. And they're like, accident? What kind of accident? She gets admitted in the hospital. I believe it's Tembisa Hospital. And she had been helped by people that found her on the side of the road injured and called an ambulance, and the ambulance had helped her and then took her to the hospital, and then she was saved. When they did examine her, they find out the injuries were not that bad. Okay, she had no internal injuries. Okay, she had external injuries. So she's in the hospital. And then at some point, Rosemary comes to fetch her from the hospital. And they made it sound like he stole her from the hospital, And also, Rosemary had been given it. Remember, this is a policewoman, had been given a file that she was supposed to use to get medication for Zanele in the pharmacy. And she never did that. She took the file home and took Zanele with her. After that, nobody hears from Uzanele. Everybody will be calling Uzanele, and Rosemary will pick up a phone and she would say she's at work. So now people are wondering what's happening with Zanele, because Zanele is sick. If she is sick, why is she not being given her own phone? Why are you leaving with her phone to work if she is sick? I don't know, you guys, why the boyfriend didn't just go check on Zanele, Eloku faltsheli, honestly. But he doesn't go, you guys. And the next thing, they get a call that she had been admitted in another hospital in Kempton Park, and this time that she had passed. Okay. So when she arrived in the hospital, she actually passed. The boyfriend does talk about how much he regrets supporting the decision to go and visit Rosemary. He also thought it was a good idea. This aunt had just helped you. It's a good idea. Just go visit the aunt. Ngabe ngathi you just calling her only when you need help from her. So they get a call to say that she has passed. The weird thing about it is that the hospital records at the Kempton Park Hospital records Uzanele having internal injuries, which is weird because at Tembisa Hospital they said there were no internal injuries, but with the second hospital she had internal injuries. Like after the first admission, when she went home, something happened to her that now caused her death. Said I know. The boyfriend talks about how sad the kids were, honestly, to lose their mom, and how he had to be strong for the kids because she really had a good relationship with the kids, and it's been really hard to move on without Zanele. Now, remember, Zanele had a brother. Okay, they don't talk about where Zanele's parents are, but Zanele had a brother that she was taking care of. Now, Rosemary takes over now the taking care of the brother. Okay, the brother is Moyeni Mashaba. I don't know if they have a different surnames with Uzanele because they have different fathers, but yes, they do have different surname. Moyeni was a teenager, guys. He was still at school, so now she takes over taking care of him. So one day he is sitting with his friends, and he receives a call from Auntie Rosemary. Auntie Rosemary says, "Listen, who are you with? Please move away from those people. I need to talk to you." He moves away from his friends, takes a call, and then he says, "Listen, please meet me at this particular place. Do not bring anybody. Don't bring those people that you are with." Okay, weird. So Moyeni goes back to his friends and say, "Listen, my aunt is calling me. She says that I must come meet him there at the corner or whatever where he was supposed to meet her, but she doesn't want me to bring any of you guys." The friends are like, "That's weird." Okay. Okay. This is what I talk about when I say go to someone to say siyakhuluma. Dead bodies do speak, because there was just him leaving evidence behind, honestly, because that was the last time that he was seen alive. He says, "Okay, guys, I will see you." And he goes to his aunt. His aunt picks him up at a place where they agreed, picks him up there. And then the next thing, he was driven to some river and shot there. He's found dead with his phone right next to him. I really honestly feel like the reason that Rosemary didn't take his phone is because she wanted it to be easy for them to find out who the relatives were, because that's the one thing that she was impatient about. Once the body was found, she wanted to make sure that they know who it is so that she can quickly claim the money, you know. So he is found, then the phone is next to him. They call the last number on the phone, and Rosemary answers. Perfect plan, except it's not so perfect because the investigator behind the scenes is investigating. It must have been very frustrating investigating this case, because honestly, they had to at this point, they are standing by watching her take people's lives without doing anything. Not that they were not doing anything, but it was hard to do something. It's like they were two steps behind. Once they catch up, there was another one, because the investigator talks about how at some point there was actually somebody that was made it every single year. but they were trying to find evidence, and then there will be another one, they're trying to find evidence, and there will be another one, they're trying to find evidence, because now she is thinking that she's getting away with it. She's not knowing that the behind the scenes they're investigating. He even mentions that at some point he does go to one insurance company that had paid Rosemary a few times to say, "Listen, what are you guys doing? Why are you still paying this woman? You should know that something is wrong over here. What you are doing is wrong," because they were still paying the woman. Okay. But I think the other important thing really to note was the fact that she was under pressure in terms of she owed a lot of machinists. I don't know if those machinists ever got their money when she was getting her payments. And also she was a gambler. At some point, she even won the car from one casino because she was a regular there. Okay, so I guess that's the reason why she wasn't living really fancy life, because she would take the money that she was getting from the insurance policies and maybe go and gamble the money, and then, or maybe pay Omashonisa and then go back, you know. Listen, this part, you guys, I was like, I need to steam and ngichathe, ngishise nepopho ngithi after watching that. And like this the spirit sika Rosemary, ufile ngathi now uzoba that evil, guys. It said, like, she really was going for people that were close to you. Like with black families, a lot of the times, your cousins, especially cousins that are your mother's sister's children. For my family, it's like that. I remember being younger when I didn't know that my cousins were my cousins. I thought my cousins were my sisters. Only when I was like growing, then I was like, oh, this one's mother is this one, and then this one's mother, because we were just raised together, you know. So now imagine you guys imagining guys looking at my cousin and being like, 700,000 uhleli la awufi kanti mina ngabe ngiya, you know. So that's what happened, you guys. Anyway, you guys, like I say, like if you have a soft heart and not even a soft heart, but if you just it gets heavy. It really does. That woman was very, very evil. Anyway, you guys, that's all. I think that documentary is really done very, very well. I think the only thing that they're not doing as well is locations, like naming locations. Like this is what sometimes I feel like, was this at Tembisa? Was this at the rurals? Where are the rurals? They're not doing well and saying, okay, this was the place. I was feeling like that while watching. Another thing that they don't do well is the timelines, and I think sometimes the timelines are difficult, because obviously some of these murders had already taken place, so it was hard to determine. So even now, as you watch, it's hard to be, oh, okay, 2012 or 2015 or 2014, and then So, but it's really nicely done, you guys. Please, if you get a chance, watch it. But like I said, I did give a warning. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngini Ntanda kakhulu.